Today we're going to talk to Viv and Alistair because they wandered in here yesterday with their truck camper, which is called, what was it called? A demountable. Because it's British, just like them. So, I know. I can't do this. Very cool.
That was really funny. Please don't cut that.
It's also German.
Okay, guys.
It's German.
So, it's German. European. All right. So, you guys, you just need to listen to hear all the crazy. There you go. That's my intro.
Welcome to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and the people, places, and adventures that go along with them. We are your hosts from Princess Craft RV. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm PJ. And
who was it? I think it was Tanya that came in. Somebody came in and said, you guys have to come see this thing outside. So we all ran out there, and it definitely looks like a truck camper.
That's right.
Rounder.
Yeah.
It looks like a space truck camper. So we all had to go outside and look at it, and that's when we met you guys. So let's start with what is it?
Well, basically, it's a European truck camper. It's manufactured in Germany. There's quite a few of those truck campers coming into the country, different makes. That's a T-shirt, but there's at least 2 or 3 other makes that are coming into. They're designed in Europe and coming into Britain. But what makes them a little bit different from the American stuff is that they're relatively a new innovation. So the way they're manufactured with the composites and a lot of one-piece moldings is a little bit different to where the American stuff came from, which was really sort of 2 sides and a roof stuck on the top. And I think that's where they look a bit different with the aerodynamics, because the nose cone especially on the T-shirt is near enough a one piece that's put on to the front of the sides of the vehicle. So it's not fully what's the word you use for that? It's not a fully integrated. Not fully formed in one piece.
Okay.
It's still sectional, but there's less pieces.
Less sections, less seams.
Less seams and less leaks and less, that's...
So are truck campers really popular over there? Because they're not really over here, I feel like.
Not really. I mean, they're much more popular here than in Europe, but it's quite... you don't see that many at all, either in Europe or England.
Why is that? Are there less trucks?
Well,
there's certainly less pickups.
Okay,
we're in Texas.
Pickups.
There's less trucks everywhere
than in Texas. Yeah, that is true. That is an exact fact. We have more pickup trucks per capita in Texas than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Not really.
But
well, I guess
the European trucks they tend to be smaller and can't carry as much, and that's obviously what's fired the demountable market in Europe, because the average payload of a European truck is 1,000 kgs, which is, I'm not sure what that is in pounds.
Well, I'm not either.
We'll have to put a calculator at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah,
all right, help us out.
£1,300, £1,400.
I don't know.
You'd have to check.
It's about all they can carry. So they're very light. They're what we call a mini truck.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes it appeal to the European market, because it would having a dually or even a 350 is still quite a big truck for the European market. So they do come in. They're imported, and people would import American campers to go on. But in general, people have got small pickup trucks, and I think the demountable manufacturers have noticed that people have.
You're taking a lot of pictures of that phone call.
What a great ringtone, though. Yeah. We have to just stop and say, great ringtone.
That is a great ringtone.
Yeah. And so they're bringing in or designing these campers to go on a lighter truck. And that's what's sort of done it. And also, I think the camper manufacturers have noticed that there's a lot of trucks especially in England. I mean, there's not as many in Texas, but there's still a lot of, proportionally, there's a lot of trucks. And there's that sort of market. They bought a truck, a relatively expensive truck. They've obviously a bit of money, so they can manufacture a camper which can fit their truck. So they're looking for that. And our importer that we bought through Noland down in Wales, Nolan Leisure. He imports them direct from Germany, and then you can go down and buy them off of him. He's got fair range now. He's probably got
He's got lots of different truck campers down there now, but they're all lighter than these ones. You get an occasional American one, but the weight's the issue.
So why did you guys choose a truck camper over a trailer? Trailers are obviously more popular, and there's a lot of cool stuff over there.
Well, about, I suppose 20 years ago now, we've got an old GMC 1980 American pickup, and Alistair built a demountable to go on it, or truck camper.
I love that I am so enamored with the words "mountable."
Demountable.
Demountable.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Is demountables.
Demountables, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we had that, and that was great. We had a loo and shower and everything we needed, bed up over the cab. And then in the interim, we have, what do we have? We had the Polar Caravan, which is a Swedish one. And then when we retired in 2014, we gave ourselves a month to rent the house out, buy a camper, set off. Which we did, and we bought a Fiat Ducato Bürstner 875 tag axle.
It sounds like another language. What was that?
I didn't understand any of that.
Slow that down.
What would you with
A Fiat.
Yeah, we need to.
pictures.
They'll sort some pictures out for us. Thank you so much. A Fiat
Yeah.
Fiat Ducato which is a Bürstner.
It's on a Dodge. Over here, Fiat Dodge. So it's on a Dodge, and it's a sort of new Dodge van that you get over here. Like it's a small, not the very
front.
small van, but and they use the front clip, which is
The cab of
the cab, and then they put an extended chassis on it, which has two non-driven wheels at the back, 4 non-driven wheels at the back. So it's like a 6-wheel vehicle. As I say, you need a picture.
I can't wait.
Yeah, we totally need a picture. So that was the first thing that you bought right after you retired?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then we had that for 4 years, and we sort of went fairly extensively in Europe, and we took it to Morocco, which probably wasn't the best place for it because it had a very long overhang, so it sort of scrunched in and out.
Okay, where is Morocco? What is
Top of Africa.
Morocco.
Morocco.
Oh, she said Morocco. I'm struggling. I'll be quiet. I'm drinking my coffee.
So, yes, we spent about 6 weeks doing that. And then we decided to sell it because we did a caravan swap and to Australia. So
what? Okay, can I stop you along the way? What is a caravan swap?
It's people advertise, and you say, well, I've got truck camper, interested in going to Australia, New Zealand, whatever, and they'll say, well, I've got, in this case, it was a Land Cruiser with a soft off-road caravan. So we swapped for about 2 months, all in all. They came and used our stuff, and we went to Australia.
Do you find that online? Where do you look online?
That's a thing.
Apparently, that's why I rate time out.
Yeah.
So where do I Google? Caravan swap?
Gosh, what was it called? I can't remember. Yeah, something like that. And there's an actual site.
There wasn't RV swaps, was it? No,
Yeah, it was something like that.
It was a bit American.
Yeah.
It could have been RV swaps.
Okay, well, we will figure that out so we can post that in the notes, right?
I'll look at
whatever that is, and you switched your units. Because I would think for people in the U.S., there are lots of people who want to come travel here.
Yeah,
that would be a great thing to do.
Yeah. And there's no
You would
cost.
think I would know that, but I didn't.
So no cost,
It takes
It's no cost, it's free.
Yeah.
Well, it
just
takes
swap.
quite a bit of setting up.
Yeah.
And we probably took a couple of years because you've got to be both happy that, you're going to look after the other person's kit.
So it took a couple of years to get it set
but
up?
by the time you sort of emailed to and fro and get to know each other on Facebook, because you've never met them. And
Okay.
then for us, the real bind was the insurance. In Australia, it's quite easy. He said, I'll just put you on our policy. But we had a real job to get insurance in England for our UK, on our UK insurance. We did get some insurance by the skin of our teeth.
So that's the trick. You have to insure the other person on your trailer.
Yeah.
And so that's the cost, basically, of switching.
You pay that, you might well pay that cost, which
Yeah.
he paid the cost for us, and we didn't have to because he didn't have any, but there was lots of other things that
Sure.
so that was it was great. And we went sort of up the east coast of Australia, then inland and down over a couple of months.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Wow. So then how was your trailer when you got it back?
Fine,
He
yeah.
had a tiny, weeny little Denton.
We both...
And he was mortified because they did the East Coast 500, which is the top of Scotland in England, and it's quite a trip. Most people want to do it.
So the East Coast 500, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, is it East Coast 500? Yeah, and it's the top road. I can't remember the actual number of the road, but it's the top
West
road.
Coast 5, I can't remember.
Yeah, east or west. It's the very top of Scotland. We want to get that right because they'll think we're idiots. So anyway.
No, you have a British accent, so you're very
So anyway,
smart.
It's the top road in Scotland, and it's a lovely scenic drive. You do it sort of in August time or spring.
Okay.
And it's a great drive. So he did that. And he was in a real windy campsite, and he opened the door, and the wind caught it and just pulled it out of his hand. And made a little, but
We managed to pick up a scratch on the window of his caravan.
Yeah.
Don't know where we did it because we were most careful. I'd been out being the grounds person to manoeuvre and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
It could have been going down the road and something flew by.
So you guys not only traded caravans, you traded damage.
Yeah, because then all you do is
we'll sort it out.
It's a wash, yeah.
'cause
That's
it's a
great.
brand new van.
We
His
said,
was
look,
a
just
brand
get
new
it
van.
sorted out and we'll pay for the damage.
Yeah.
It's still cheap
It all
holiday if you
polished
look
out.
at it like
It's
that.
polished out.
Oh, absolutely. So you traded for 2 months.
Yeah.
What great fun.
And then you decided you wanted a truck camper.
No, then we went on.
Okay. Back to the story.
On that trip, we went on to see my brothers in New Zealand, and Miles's girls were heavily into horses and pony club and all that stuff, and they're both left home now. And he had this old horse lorry sitting there, which took 4 horses.
What is a horse lorry?
A horse
Oh, a
truck.
horse truck.
A horse trailer.
Not trailer.
Is it one you
truck.
tow or the truck that you pull it with?
You drive.
So a lorry is a truck.
Yes, a lot
Got
of
it. You put horses in.
and you put horses in the back. You don't have them over here.
No, we don't have them over here.
Cattle trucks.
We'll show you a picture of that as well.
We got a picture.
Okay, a
old,
horse lorry.
It's an old Bedford TK.
You've got to let them talk.
I don't know. I'm just
You've got to let them
I have
talk.
to understand
They haven't even
what
gotten
they're
to the
saying.
actual truck camper part yet. Just let them talk.
I know, but it has been fascinating. You have to admit, right?
So he went from horse lorry to house box, or horse box to house box. And he took all the inside out, put everything in that you'd need, for habitation. And we ground round New Zealand in that for 4 months. So we did most of good chunk of the North Island, good chunk of the South Island. And he'd only just finished it. So we had a few mechanicals on the way. And when you were going uphill, it went about 7 miles an hour. So you could count fir cones. It's an old, it's an old truck.
Truck 1980s.
But and then you let the ramp down at the back. And of course, then you had a full vista. You could
Oh,
sit in the
wow.
car. That's lovely,
Fun.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. We've got pictures of that. I think it's probably
love
easier
it.
just to slot some of the pictures in.
Our show notes for this episode are going to be pages long.
So people might then know what house boxes and fir cones are, whatever that is.
Well, the house box is a New Zealand term, that is basically they turn anything that's usually not designed into somewhere to live. It's like a tiny home. You have that concept here.
Okay.
It's sort of making a tiny home in whatever, a truck, a lorry, a caravan, an ice cream van, anything. So that's the concept of it. So,
Okay.
So and Miles, the brother-in-law, is a very clever lad, and obviously I've got a separate video that if you want to look at that, it's about 10 minutes long. It explains how it's set up, and you might find it quite interesting. It's
I bet Clint would.
all that sort of stuff.
Oh, totally.
Well, anyway, go on, get on with the camper. That's what
We'll never get to the truck camper. Too many
So we
adventures.
did that. And yes, we'd ordered the truck camper and the Ranger for when we got home. So we got home and actually we got our son to collect the Ranger because we had, you have to change all the bits on it to take the camper, put all the electric points in and all that. So we'd sort of get ahead of that. That's when we got that, and we had to get it sorted out because Bruce and Freddie of the caravan swap were coming to use it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because
that summer, because we didn't swap at the same time.
Yeah,
but we
that's
did
right.
manage it, and then we've had it 4 years now.
Yeah.
So we've done, well, quite a bit with it, been up and down to Spain a couple of times for the winter, and we've been right round into Eastern Europe. We've been meaning to do that trip, and some friends of ours nearby where we're based in France, they said, oh, it's such a shame, our son's getting married and nobody's going because of COVID and people are travel scared, etc., etc. And she said, do you want to come? And we said, well, yeah, we could do, because we got the camper. And I said, as long as the bride and groom don't mind, because they've never met us.
Details.
And
Details.
anyway, that was fine. So we set off and we went right through France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Poland, and then into Slovakia, Hungary, Bosnia, Montenegro, Albania, Serbia, that whole big Croatia.
Wow.
And it was just at the end of COVID, so it was a bit of a hassle. We were toying with going into Greece or across back up through Italy, because you can get ferries across. But that we didn't do that in the end.
Just such a hassle, those damn tests.
Yeah, and all that nightmare. So
We didn't
So-
just did a big loop in Eastern Europe.
Why did you choose a truck camper, though? I mean, you had bigger things before. Why did you choose to go smaller to
Well, I think that
get a
really
truck
just-
camper?
It's just convenience, because 20 minutes it's off, and the truck, and you can go where you want with it, and you can leave it. When we're not using it, when we're set up in France, we've got a little small place in France, and we can store it in the neighbour's barn, cover it up, sheet it up, so when it's not in use, it's tucked away, and we've got a vehicle, and then we don't have to run two vehicles. The main thing is because whenever we had, like when we had the Bursner, if we were stuck in France, it was not big by your standards, but it was about 25 foot long,
The roads were a
30
lot
foot, and the
smaller.
roads are small, and you wouldn't want to keep taking it to the shop, so you'd end up hiring a van or hiring a car, and then it's just more expense. So we went for the Demountor, and like we said, we made one years ago and enjoyed it and used it, and we just wanted something that obviously was a bit better made than mine. But
And we marvel, we watch all these people with all these enormous trailers and
Yeah.
things. It takes us 10 minutes, shut the cupboards, go.
yeah,
And they have jacks and
Yeah.
this and that.
Yeah.
And we watch Sweet Travels, who's an American couple, and they've got the most enormous, what do they call it, full house. So
Yeah.
it's a full-size truck they need a 90-foot pull through, which always impresses us.
A 90-foot pull through.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it takes them a
It's a
day to
monstrous thing.
get all the slides in and shut it all.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness me. Get all the vehicles on board. 'Cause they've
Yeah.
got two vehicles.
Yeah, they got side by sides and a smart car that sits on the top. I mean, it's worth watching. It's especially for us, because it's just out of our, it's like a spaceship. We could probably get there and back 3 times before they got the first jack on. They parked out somewhere where it was blowing a hoolie on, and they have to wipe all the legs down because you can't
Oh,
crack
yes.
the legs, go and break the seal or something. And
Oh, my
I lost
goodness.
interest.
Oh,
And
yes.
then they got a list. I hope they don't see this. They got a list.
They won't.
They're not listening to us, I just
They've
betcha.
got a list, their travel day list, and it's
It's impressive.
It's an impressive list. It just goes on what they got to do, and basically we get up.
We marvel.
Do you have a travel day list?
No, we
Yeah.
shut the
So
cupboards and get in, go.
we go shut.
Everything's shut. Yeah, we're gone.
And we don't even bother as a rule, even putting a leg down to stabilise it. We got so used to just hopping in and out.
Yeah, just not.
We don't even,
It wiggles a little, but
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah, it's what we used to say. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Really, apart from it's nice to have a bit more space, but we don't really miss it.
No, because
And
we're
it's
outside.
so much more convenient in every other respect. And it's 4-wheel drive if necessary.
Because we don't sort of go. We're not off-roading, but we're more overlanding. So we will do
A bit of
broken trails and that sort of thing. But we won't. We're not.
rock
We're
climbing
not
or any of
going
these.
rock climbing with it. So, and we did, where was it? We did 60, 70 miles in
That was Albania.
Albania,
Off-road.
all off-road. And nothing, nothing broke or fell off.
And there, they were still ploughing with horses.
Yeah.
In Albania, they're still plowing with horses.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was
we saw
something
them.
to see.
We were
Yeah.
amazed. 'Cause even in Europe, that's gradually gone. But Eastern Europe, it's not so developed.
Oh my goodness. What adventures. So now that you've got your demountable, is that the right word?
Yeah.
A demountable. I'm going to start using that. I think that's so fun. Okay. What was the plans to get here with your demountable? Why wouldn't you come here and rent one or come here and buy something else to use on your trip? I mean, what was the thinking here?
Well, we looked at it all, and basically, because of our visas, we can do sort of 6 months at a time for 10 years, which is quite good. And we looked at buying one, but it's, again, not easy as a foreigner. You probably have to set up an LLC, and then there's all this sort of vagary of whether it is or isn't up to insurance scrutiny, and all this sort of thing.
Right.
And you've got to find one and buy it and then sell it, or possibly store it when you go home, and that's not cheap. So we looked at that, and if you rent one, it's probably getting on $6,000 a month. So for the cost of bringing ours over for 10 months, which is roughly what we're going to do, it was worth doing. But again, it's not simple. You have to apply for a temporary import for the truck, which I did through Ship Cars. And they put us on to Always Shipping, who handled the customs and border control coming in to Charleston. But nobody really seems to know what the other hand's doing.
No.
Yeah.
It's a funny old.
A little tricky.
We took the truck down to Southampton, and a lot of the ship's been delayed by a week. So we didn't really want to leave it on the docks for a week.
Right.
So we took it home, took it down the next week. Yes, that's all right. And I said, right, where's the ship going? And they said, right, Brunswick, Baltimore, Brunswick, Charleston. Well, fine, because that's our destination. And then when it sets off on the ship tracker, it immediately goes north towards Bremerhaven and Zeebrugge. So a week later, it crosses its path by the Isle of Wight, which is Southampton, then sets off. So it was about 5 weeks it took.
So it didn't go it went other places that you didn't know it was going.
Your truck camper went on an adventure without you.
It did. Must have done 4,000 miles without it. So it saved the tires getting worn out.
Yeah, the tires.
Well, we've done some shipping overseas for customers that have purchased, and we figured out that you certainly can crate a truck camper. Yeah. But if you move the truck with it, then it is a roll-on, roll-off.
Yeah.
And that is cheaper and so much easier.
Yeah. Well,
easier than crating it and then shipping it, because crating can cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Do you know how much in US dollars it cost you to ship it over here?
It was £2,800. So it's probably about $3,000 one way. But when you think, so say a rental was $6,000 for a month,
$3,000 is all it costs to get it
we got
over
to get
here?
it back yet, which
We got to
would be
get it
the
back.
same
Well,
again.
still. Yeah, I mean, it's cheaper than I expected.
Yeah.
But from what you're telling me, a whole lot of hassle.
Yes, but if you're going to do anything outside a package deal, basically, that's what you have to expect.
Right. To save money, you have to put in the effort.
Well, it's just, we to and fro, obviously, from England to Europe regularly, and that's really set up for ordinary people. But international taking of vehicles isn't. It's, they want 200 BMWs or, it's that sort of.
Right.
So one little individual trying to negotiate the complexities.
Yes.
And even when we picked it up at Charleston, they said, yes, it's ready for pickup. Got to the dock. Oh, there's something they haven't sent. So, get hold of the shipping agent again, get them to send it. So anyway, got that. And the truck was fine, except somebody had obviously been sleeping in it because the seats are all back and the rubbish in there.
Oh, lovely.
Which again, we'd been forewarned that this could happen.
Yes.
Somebody with an ordinary camper, their camper had been slept in and they'd had a whole lot of stuff pinched out of it.
Because obviously a normal van camper, you can get between
you can walk into
driving to the accommodation, whereas with a demountable truck camper, you have to go and you can lock the vehicle, you can lock the camper.
They only need access to drive.
They only need to drive it. So you lock the vehicle, lock the camper up so they don't go in there.
So that's a real plus for
which is a plus, especially shift
For the truck camper, because they didn't get in your camper per se, just the truck, and
just got in the
probably wasn't really much to steal in there.
well, we knew, so we'd taken everything out.
Yes.
And so what? They slept in it. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Go have it cleaned and you're good to go.
Yeah. They don't sort of,
So yeah.
So what are you going to see while you're here? How long have you been here? What have you seen already? Why are you here?
We've been on the road. It'll be 3 weeks tomorrow. Yes.
Wow, just starting.
Yeah, we're only just starting out.
I just sat down.
And we haven't got any particular plan. We've just sort of bumbled across country, which is fascinating. We go on the smaller roads all the time. We've been to Tupelo and seen Elvis's birthplace. We've been to several state parks.
Did you go to Graceland if you went to Tupelo?
No, because of all the storms and
Oh, that's right.
So we've been sort of running southwest to sort of avoid them. And we came through a tornado area and it was completely flattened. Trees down over all the houses, all the wires down, all the emergency services out.
Wow.
Well, we met that. We were down on a boat dock overnighting. I can't remember what lake it was. And I got talking to a guy and he said, where are you going? And I said, well, we've done Tupelo and we're thinking of going up to Memphis and then do a bit of Route 66. And then he said, then I said also to go to Big Bend. And he said, if I was you, he said, I'd forget that going up there. He said to go and see Elvis is like $78 for look at 2 rooms, go to Big Bend. And so on that thing, we thought, well, that sounds cool. And we did. And really, he could have saved a camper because
They had big storms.
They had big storms and we were running in that direction. And then, because we don't have storms in England, we have heavy rain and a little bit of wind, and that's it. We don't get.
Not
storms.
Tornadoes.
Yeah.
Well, if you have been here in the last 3 weeks, you have seen the worst of our tornado season.
So
it's
then I got a
terrible
tornado
what's been
out.
happening.
I'm thinking, well, I better get a bit sort of switch.
Yes,
so I get this tornado out, and I'm messing with this thing, and it's sunny day, sun's out, and the app's telling me that it's going to rain. There's going to be a tornado tomorrow. So I wasn't quite sure whether I got the right app or not.
But did you?
No, we just came basically south instead of going north, and luckily we missed it. Luckily for us, but I mean it was we didn't enjoy seeing it, did we? It's terrible.
Oh, it is terrible.
Cars upside down.
I mean, we wouldn't have gone through because, as I say, all the emergency, they just sort of chopped all the trees so you could get through. But because we go cross country, we just happened to be routed through.
Yeah.
Through those places, man, it's tragic.
It is, yeah.
But you're heading to an amazing place. You're headed to Big Bend, and it is the perfect season to go because it's not blazing hot yet. It's just hot. So it's a great time to be in Big Bend.
Yeah, that's
And then as it warms up, we'll sort of travel north and up into Canada. And then
do a
come
little
back
bit of
down.
Route 66.
And hopefully get our visa reset.
Yeah,
That's the
another
other
thing.
complication. When you import for a year with a truck, it has to be gone at the end of the year, or if you leave the country, which means we were going to go home to England and come back, but we can't leave the truck because it would have to go as well. But we're hoping by going up into Canada where we can take the truck, when we come back into the States, they'll re-stamp us in for another 6 months and then we can bumble back down to probably Charleston and home again. If we can't, we'll have to investigate shipping home from Canada and do it that way.
Because we can have, as we're English or British, we can stay in Canada for 6 months under the national agreement. But in America, we can only stay for 3 months. So that's why we have to take an extra.
Well,
We're buttheads.
Doesn't sound like we're very welcoming
We are
to our
buttheads.
British friends.
I mean, well, you're the same. If you come to England, you see, you can only stay for 3 months.
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, we're
Okay,
buttheads. I would kick us out after 3 months too.
I think you can do 6 in England, but in Europe, which also includes us now, it's a wretched Brexit.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't know if you heard or anyway.
We won't go there.
Hey,
That's a whole nother
Basically, instead
ballgame.
of just being
we could do a whole podcast on Brexit, right?
You
it's
could.
put in all sorts of restrictions, and now where we could just swan to and fro,
Right.
we can only go for 90 days in every 180, so you've got to watch that all the time. Where we've got French residency, so it doesn't affect us, but It's an absolute pain.
Wow. It sounds like there's a lot to manage if you're coming over here for 6 months, 9 months, 90 days, whatever. But
it's worth it, though.
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, we've had some great
it's
fun.
been
We
great so
love
far.
meeting people. I mean,
You've only been here 3 weeks.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Well,
we
5
talk to
altogether,
anyone,
but-
you know. There's
Clearly,
always
you're
somebody to
here.
talk to. Yeah, there's always somebody to talk
So
to.
yeah, how did you get here? So you saw PJ's videos? So you
Yeah.
were like, hey, let's just stop by Princess
No.
Craft because it's in Texas?
No. I
Oh,
was
no.
after these,
Not that much of a draw.
No, I was after the, what do you call it, fast guns, to see if I can adapt or use them on the
The
camper.
tie-down
The
things.
tie-downs. And I left a message here, left a text here, and then I got an answer back a few days later. And then I realised that I had seen you on the videos of the. And then when I you didn't as soon as I heard you speak,
Hey everybody, I'm PJ from Princess Craft RV.
I knew it was definitely you.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was a bit random, and obviously I saw the campers, but
That's funny.
So did you find Princess Craft just because you were in the area and you Googled fast guns or truck campers or?
yes, yeah, and I put a text in, as I say, and then I realised that it was you and we'd been following the Cirrus campers because we quite like them. As I said, we quite like the Cirrus
Like the Cirrus campers. You had said that the Cirrus camper is probably the closest to what you have now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, one of the things we're toying with, because we've got a 10-year visa, we can come for lumps of 6 months at a time. And if we really enjoy it, we are thinking of when we return back to Britain, is getting rid of what we've got and then buying something out here and then coming out, storing it and coming back, going back to the UK so we can carry on touring and see more of America. But that's...
But then what will you use to travel in the UK?
Well, we'd have to get something.
Buy an old Polo,
Okay.
buy an
Well,
old caravan.
we've got our faithful old GMC.
Yeah.
Oh, you still have it?
Yeah.
1980 GMC, you still have
85
it?
it is, yeah.
85?
85. Worth more over here than it is in England.
I wasn't born.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Oh, geez.
But the other real challenge of bringing the truck, of course, was the insurance.
Yeah, that's
Right.
And we rang Thumb, who gave us a horrendous quote, got hold of Progressive. We spent a good almost a year phoning to and fro, making sure, we could get... Anyway, finally got the insurance sorted out as we thought. And then the very morning we were about to set off from Charleston, we had an email, we've cancelled your truck camper policy. Here's your money back. Luckily, only the camper bit, not the Ranger, not the truck.
Yeah, so that's insured. But
So we thought, well, we can't do anything about it now. We just have to go, which isn't ideal. But you think, honestly,
scary.
how difficult can it be?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes those things are super difficult.
They are.
And you would think with all of the internet that we have, easy to, have a website, be able to check it, be able to add, subtract. No, they just make it so difficult. And then the random things happen.
yeah,
And we reckon it got as far as the underwriters, in a month or two, having applied for it, had it passed. What's this foreign thing? We're not
going to do this.
No, luckily
Cancel.
the truck's Ford, so thankfully that's no
Oh,
problem.
good.
it comes up because American vehicles in England, we insure our vehicles are really insured on the license plates, which you don't use them like that. You insure
No,
on the
we don't do that here.
Yeah.
You insure on the VIN number. So the VIN number obviously came up as a foreign Ford,
Right.
but they accepted it because it's a Ranger and all the rest of it.
Okay.
But you see, the camper, I haven't got a VIN number for the camper. I mean, there's a 4-digit number on the side and a date of manufacture from Tisha, but they were looking for the
Camper VIN number.
for the camper VIN number.
Yeah, you'd have to do it separately.
Yeah, but I mean,
did, but it's not long
enough.
It's not long enough, so it didn't register. And then whether he done a bit of research and looked at it and thought, I don't want to insure it, or whether he just went, no, I'm not going to insure it, probably that.
Okay, so you're telling me that your camper is not insured.
No, the truck is, so we're insured
Okay.
to drive on the roads and all that, but there's no insurance on the camper. But,
Well, be careful.
yeah, well, that's it. I mean,
what we're doing.
Well, that's when we park it. We always park it so if anyone they run into the van.
But your other choice was,
not go.
Well,
go back home.
Yeah. I wonder though if an American company would insure your truck camper.
Well, this is.
Well,
It's
little job for
progressive.
you. Little job this afternoon.
I don't
You
need
just
a job.
signed yourself up.
No, I'm going to try there's one over in California called Sergio something rather. I must have another look. And that's a possibility.
Well, we can help you out with that and see if we can get you in touch with a couple of people and insurance companies that we know are more lenient with truck campers. I don't know if it'll help you.
Yeah.
But maybe some help there. But I noticed your truck had a different name on the side than I recognized. I know it's made by Ford. What does it say on the side?
Well, a Wild Track is just a model like an LXT or LTS over here, so it's just a different model.
A World Track, but it's actually like a Ranger. It's a mini truck.
Yeah, but
with
it's,
that nice camper on the back.
Yes, but it's a Ranger that you get Rangers now. They come in on a V6 and a four-cylinder engine, and they're near enough exactly the same, bit flashier inside because they're new. Whereas that Ranger is a 2019, and it never came here. That's got a diesel engine in it, which it never came to America, as far as I'm aware.
And we do get 23 miles to the gallon out of it.
Yeah,
With your truck camper on it.
Yeah.
With your
nice.
demountable.
yeah.
And that's crazy. Do you know how much it weighs by itself, the camper?
720 kgs, about 1,100 pounds.
750, yeah.
It is just remarkable because it is really nice.
And it's light,
And it's
the
got,
lightness just-
shower, toilet. It's got kitchen. It's got everything. It's very much like a Cirrus. That is incredible. Okay. I'm fascinated by your traveling and how you get over here, but I know you must have had some crazy adventures and things happen along the way out of all these travels through Europe and what's the craziest thing you can think of? Some crazy adventures you've had.
I don't know. I suppose Albania, really.
Or Morocco with a...
I can't imagine what it's like to live in Morocco in a truck camper.
Morocco was our first, because it is
pretty third
it's
world.
third world. So,
right.
And there's there's tarmac roads, but there's only a strip of tarmac. And then you have to go off the tarmac. So whatever's bigger coming towards you, you have to get out of its way. If you're bigger than they get out of your way.
And were there a lot of people that were bigger than you?
Not amazingly so, but a few. But when you go off from the tarmac to the side of the road,
right?
There's potholes that would take your axles off. So you have to sort of go over and go over so you can get round the potholes and then back on. So no one really wants to come off the bit of strip of tarmac, which is only wide enough for one.
It's like playing chicken.
And we met the army, weren't we? We met the army. The army came towards us, and I was like, bollocks, they'll cool off. They were all great four-wheel drive things and all that. And they stayed there to the right last minute, and then he popped off, and we just gave him away.
But they've been strictly told in Morocco not to take any bribes or anything, which they've always, they're dying to, and they've got a king who seems very good, and he's sort of got everything in hand. Yeah. And there's lots of checkpoints, and we got to the checkpoint, and you could see, you said, I seem to have lost my pen. Would you have one? And I said, well, as it happens, I do.
Yeah, because you had to, there was checkpoints as you got down to there's a disputed zone, which is disputed between Algeria, and they've been in dispute for years. So, and it's what they call is it demilitarized zone or something like that? But there's always a dispute who owns the land. And as you get nearer to this disputed, there's more and more checks. So you just drive through, and you've got a list of. We just wrote them out, loads of bits of paper, and it was your passport, your name, where you were going. So you just handed them this, and they signed it. When, like you say,
I have to say, I would be scared to death driving through what did you call it?
Well, it's not.
Checkpoint.
Yeah, it's a demilitarized. It's a zone where they argue. They've been arguing.
Well, yeah, but
it's not.
You're kind of in Nowheresville there.
Yeah, but it's not going to kick off there.
Nobody's fighting each other and shooting each other.
No,
they're just arguing.
Yeah, waving flags and arguing. But it's fine. And then the other quite fun bit, we were in on this off-road bit. We did in Albania, and it was getting on sort of dark, and we still had a fair bit to go. And I thought, well, we'll stop somewhere.
We're trying to stop about 3.
About 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we pulled in, and it was coldish evening, and there was this great big hotel which was all shut up for the winter, all great big building. And then next to it was this little bar, and had a little chimney coming out, all heated by wood and all the rest of it. And so I pulled in, and the bloke came out, and we just did the international language.
Stay the night.
Stay the night. And
the holding hands next to your face, so someplace to sleep.
Yeah, that's it. And so we did all that, and then from this wedding, we'd liberated a fair bit of vodka off of the Polish, because they drink vodka like Budweiser. So,
Okay.
So I took a couple of bottles in, and obviously I couldn't speak a word of English, and they couldn't speak. I couldn't speak a word of Albanian. They couldn't speak a word of English, but we were friends halfway through the evening with these
Google
bottles.
Translate is very good.
Google Translate. There was one guy who spoke a bit of English.
So you got drunk with the Albanians.
Yeah, we're not drunk because they outdrink us.
Yeah, so
They had some
you got drunk, they didn't?
No, they got terrible stuff. They're drinking. You could put it in a car and run it on it, I think. So yeah, but I mean, every day there's
What cool
every day
stories.
there's something.
Some interest.
I mean, the Texan had to show us his guns. I mean,
What?
Only one of
What?
them?
yeah, when we've never fired a gun.
Only one Texan has
Yeah.
shown you their guns?
Yeah.
That's weird.
He was. He
Well,
was,
like, yeah,
he was
all right.
cool.
Clint, take it out.
He was cool. He was cool. But yeah, every day. I mean,
That's
we
one
met.
of our harvest hosts. So.
Yeah, and I met some great guys.
So how did he just walk up and say, "Hey, you want to see my guns"?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
What?
He said, you need to. Have you ever shot
You've
a
been
gun?
in Texas your whole life. How is this
but
weird?
no one does that to me.
No, have you shot a gun? Not really. And that was it.
Do you want to?
Were you in a campsite?
No, on his land. He's on his land.
Yeah, it's a harvest
We did to
host.
keep him.
Oh, harvest host.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah, he
a
was
great guy.
good. Yeah, he was.
But yeah, every day you know, like for you, I mean, you meet guys on the boat docks with their Baswelly boats, and one of the things that's we really enjoy about touring in Australia, New Zealand, England, America is there's no language barrier. Because Viv's pretty fluent at French. I can just about order a drink.
Well, that's all you need, really. Seriously.
But it's not. You say that, but it's not, because it's really difficult to interact. And
It's true.
because a normal Viv's French is she can sort out the bills, she can organise phones, hire cars, and all the rest of it. When you get into the real
Chatting like
nitty-gritty
this is so
chatting,
difficult.
it's really difficult if you're not very, very good at a foreign language or their language. And
Right.
I think that's the bonus of touring in English-speaking places, is that you learn so much so quickly. I mean, you imagine I went into France and was trying to get some quick gun jacks for a camper. I mean,
Fast guns.
fast gun.
Yeah, it's hard enough to explain when we're both speaking the same language. So
Right, I am struggling apparently, but
Yeah.
yeah, I can't imagine if you're in Albania and somebody wants to show you their guns, it's going to be maybe an odd conversation.
Well, we had that other guy. Last story. He came. We looking for somewhere to park about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and big field next to this guy's house. And we'd driven round off the main road and just into this little village, and we parked up. And he came to the door, and I wandered over. I said, "Yes." He said, "English." He said, "Yes, yeah. Stay the night." He said, "Come round and join me." Anyway, so we liberated another bottle of vodka.
Because he did speak a bit of English.
He spoke
Okay.
English, that one did. And so we go round there and drinking and chatting. He basically cut and shut cars. He imported cars from England that were written off, and he cuts them in half and puts the two good bits together. I don't know if you have that sort of thing in America, possibly not. I don't
It's
know.
been banned.
It's been banned.
Europe.
It's been banned in
On the
Europe because it makes them, they just stick them, if it's one good bit, two broken, one rear ended and one front ended, they cut them in half and join the two.
They weld them together.
Same model.
Okay.
Obviously. Same model, same car, everything. But
Right.
different
right.
colors.
yeah, different colours. They can be different colours.
They only do that with limousines, and then they charge a lot of money.
Yeah. So anyway, he was importing from England, so his English was quite good, and we had a great evening there. And then he said, "Would you like to come to my restaurant in the morning?" So he said, "Yeah, brilliant. We're going for breakfast." And then he said, "What time?" And I said, "I don't know, about 9, 9:30." So he disappeared off early, obviously, to go to his restaurant, and came back 9, 9:30, picked us up, took it to his restaurant. He took us a little tour around his town. I can't even remember the name of the town. Little tour, and he was really pleased with his town and how it looked, and he wanted to show it off to the tourists, and it was lovely, And then we get back to his restaurant, and his mum was there. She made us bread, and he gave us a breakfast. And away we went. But it was a real tremendous experience because he really valued us and we valued him, sort of thing. So it was really great.
Oh, I love
that.
that.
Sounds so
Almost a
nice.
sort of nearly a daily thing, really. There's always somebody to talk to.
Yeah, that
Not
is.
all as good as you, Mum.
Well, of course.
We don't have no guns.
I bet there's one hid here somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
No, and all we served you was coffee and English tea, but we could maybe liberate a bottle of vodka next time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
as
I've
you
got
put
none
Not
it,
for me, though.
I've got no vodka left.
well, we only drink good vodka. So, I think what I think might happen, especially here in the U.S., is that you will get ooglers like us. And every time you stop, somebody will say, "What is that?
Yeah.
And can I peek in?"
Yeah.
Because that's what we do here in the U.S. We
Yeah.
think everything's fair game, and they'll just ask, "Hey,
Yeah.
can I go in and see what it's like?"
Oh,
Yeah, we've had several of those, yeah.
Because we're on Instagram, and so a lot of the girls we were on that. We went swimming, and they were all in that.
El Dorado.
She was she was very religious, to say the least. But she was in there, wasn't she?
So, did she want to come in your camper and say some prayers for you?
Yeah, we had it blessed or near enough. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, she was
Okay.
heavily into it. Yeah, heavily into it. But yeah, good fun, great fun.
Yeah, it
we
was
had.
fun, yeah.
We stayed. That was in El Dorado.
El Dorado, yeah.
El Dorado.
Did 2 nights at a swimming pool.
Yeah, we stayed there and we'd like doing a bit of swimming. So we stayed there and I just went in and said, is it okay to park overnight? They said, yeah, no problem. And we had one free ticket because we were non-members, but we might have been. And then the next day we had to pay $12, but it was good. Great swimming.
El Dorado. I don't know where that is.
It's Louisiana.
Louisiana, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Well, it's
Great
that's the
little
thing.
pool.
See, it's all these little towns we go to, so you've probably never heard of them because there's so many of them.
Yeah, well, I tell you what.
Keep going to the little towns. It's where the gold is.
It's
It is-
where all the nodding donkeys are.
Yeah?
That's it.
And I did learn yesterday what nodding donkeys are.
Yeah.
What's a nodding donkey?
Well, a nodding donkey is a pump jack, an oil pump jack.
Oh, it is. Looks like a nodding donkey.
And that's apparently a British word.
Yep.
Yeah, because
That's
we
what we
do
call
have
them.
1 or 2 of those in Britain. Not basically 1 or 2.
One or two
yeah,
pump
no,
jacks
one
in
or two.
all of
Yeah,
Britain.
1 or 2 million here in Texas.
Yeah. Well, we
So
A nodding donkey.
I know.
That's
See, I
so
have had so much fun listening to all of this. So I don't know what fir cones are, but I don't think I want to know what fir cones are in New Zealand.
Cones are, the things on the tree.
yeah,
the
you get
seeds.
fir cones.
Oh,
cones.
pine cones.
Yeah,
Cones.
same thing.
Fir cones. Well, now it makes sense. I'm thinking fur like on an animal,
No,
fur cones.
FIR type fur.
Not nearly as fun as nodding
cones.
donkeys. So you guys have had such great adventures. It's been so fun hearing about them. I really do honestly think we could liberate a bottle of vodka and hear lots more stories. I think so too. So, I don't know. I hope you stop by again.
Oh, thank you.
And come
buy
and see
one.
us.
We might want to buy one.
Well, you know who to call, right? Lindsay.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But there's so many cool things. I start thinking about traveling around here, just in the U.S. The culture is so different when you get to, say, Wyoming as it is in southern Louisiana. I mean, you're in another world and you would fit in perfectly because you speak French.
Yeah.
And we can't even understand the Cajuns and they're, 6 hours away. So, I don't know. So many interesting things. And you get up in Minnesota, you won't understand them either.
No.
So, and then you can go to California and, put on your flip-flops and walk the beach and do a little swimming. So much to do. So I hope you have great travels and I hope you stay in touch.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, thanks for having us. Great.
Absolutely. Can we tell people, I know we'll put everything in the notes, but for those of you who are driving and listening, you said you're on Instagram. Where can they find you on Instagram?
Rolling South _
Rolling
South
underscore
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
You could catch up with Viv and Alistair. I knew it wasn't Allison, but
Allison
I was close.
transmission.
Alistair. Hey, I was close.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are awesome. It is so fun to have you. So fun to see your rig. And we now have new friends.
Yes,
I
we
feel
do.
very lucky.
It's good. Great.
So if you guys want to learn more about this, we'll have everything in the notes. Otherwise, you can check them out on Instagram. And, funny thing, Lindsay, we're all those places too, aren't we?
We are at RV Small Talk on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, RV Small Talk podcast. That's all I got.
Yes.
That's it.
Maybe we can invite them to our truck camper rally at the end of May in case they're in anywhere near this side of the world. Truck camper rally, beginning of May. Really fun. Well, thanks for joining us and see you next time.
Bon voyage.
Thank you.
Thank you.